Live on a Wednesday. Of course, you know it's Under Review Live with Cole Marino and Steven Williamson. It's the best part of the week. It's Under Review Live, and we're going to dive right into a lot of topics. It's a loaded show, Steven. I'm so excited about it. How are you doing today?
Thank you for asking. Never ask anymore.
Never ask anymore.
No, I'm doing great. I'm excited. And I tell Cole every week I forget how much fun this is until we actually start doing it, and then I just enjoy the heck out of it. I want to get right into it, though, Cole, because like we said in the post, like you said, we have a completely jam-packed show today. We're going to start off with news under review. And just coming out today, Cole, we have a big quarterback transfer coming out of Clemson. Kelly Bryant, right after Trevor Lawrence, the backup quarterback freshman phenom, gets announced as starter. Kelly Bryant announces that he will be transferring. And he's only played in 4 games, so he does have the redshirt rule where he can have another year of eligibility because he will be a senior. Or he's a senior this year, correct? Yeah, a senior this year, so we will have one more year of eligibility. What are your thoughts on that, Cole?
You look at this whole entire the landscape of college football now that this rule has been implemented, and I told somebody today the entire college football landscape has changed forever because of this rule. And regardless if you think it or not, first of all, I hate the rule.
So you don't like the 4-game rule?
I don't like it. Look, I understand why it's in place. I understand that players want to be able to, start immediately, and they want to be able to move, and they want to be able to create their own kind of destiny and whatnot. But it's going to hurt these big-time programs like the Alabamas and the Clemsons of the world because their depth charts are just going to be depleted. Because, these big-name players, they're going to transfer out. If they think, well, if I can't start here right now, if I'm a good middle linebacker, a running back, or wide receiver, I'll just go start for Mississippi State. I'll just go play for them if I can't start here. And, what it's done is it's given the players all the leverage. Now coaches in these programs have no leverage at all. It used to be that the coaches kind of ran the programs and that the programs kind of had the players, kind of in a tight bind. And now the players almost become like they're free agents. It's almost like It's the NFL. It's almost like it's pro league now because these players now control their destiny. They're mobile at this point, and I think it's just wrong. I get it. And you see the comments that he made towards
he said it was slap in the face.
That was good enough to start.
I was going to say, he took it too far, and I think Dabo said, I don't have a bad thing to say about Kelly Bryant, but at some point you got to make tough decisions in this league, and you got to do what's best for the team. That's what Dabo said. But part of me likes it because it gives the player more opportunity. It gives a player like, say a couple years ago, which we didn't know at the time, but with Jalen Hurts and Blake Barnett, for instance, at Alabama. Blake Barnett transfers, and if I'm Blake Barnett in his shoes and I'm the number 1 or 2 quarterback prospect in the country, he was and I go in and I have an opportunity to start as a sophomore. I've been there for a year, so I've redshirted a year. I've been underneath a guy. I've been waiting my turn, and then I get my chance. I feel as if I've put out my best ability and they just gave Jalen Hurts a better opportunity because for whatever reason, but I still feel like I'm more talented. I don't want to waste my years if my whole dream is to go in the NFL. So I completely understand people like that transferring. I get what you're saying with it gives the players the power, not the coaches.
Completely.
And in college football, it's not the player power, it's the coach power, or that's what it's supposed to be. But I honestly can say, Cole, I'm for this rule just because if you don't want in, get out. To me, if you're not all sold in on the team and you can't handle stuff like that, I don't want you on the team in the first place. You can go. And like, for instance, is like Jalen Hurts. I think he's a great kid. I think he has immense potential, and I think he has done everything right. Yeah. And I want to see him succeed. And I think his best chance of succeeding is not at Alabama if he wants to remain a quarterback.
Totally understand.
It's not at Alabama.
Too.
So I think that's a great rule for him because that gives him the ability to play with Tua, sparingly, and then actually transfer out to a team that needs him, like say a Texas, for instance, that needs him, and he can go back home and if he still wants to play pro football, that's his best chance because you're not going to get drafted or even looked at as a free agent if you never start a game in college.
Of course it's going to benefit the players. Now the players can, like you said, they can go and fulfill their dreams of playing football, and they can make their resume for the draft look better. It's all great and wonderful, but then you look on down the road. It looks cute in year one. But
Right.
let's wait until 3 or 4 seasons from now and see just the landscape of college football just change because
Oh, it
now
will change
you're gonna
because
have,
I think
you're gonna
it's
have
up.
a lot more players.
I think it's
than
up to
just one
13.
do
I think
it.
it's up to 13.5% transfer rate this year, which is the highest it's ever been.
Way,
As I say,
way
it'll
up
keep
from
going up.
here.
It'll keep going up. But like I said,
way up.
I mean-
Auburn's Craig Myers just exercised his right to transfer.
yeah, I think it just.
You don't talk
I think
about
the
that.
main. As I say, I think the main prospects that are going to be transferring quarterbacks because if you have different positions, quarterback is the main position that you play pretty much every game. That and offensive line, you're in the game every game unless you get
Yep.
hurt. You very
Absolutely.
rarely do you have a 2 quarterback system or anything like that,
Yep.
or even if you do, very rarely does it work. But other positions, I don't think you're going to see the transfer rate go up that much just because linebackers, defensive line, wide receivers, running backs can switch in and out so frequently in today's game that it's not that big of a deal to play. Be second string running back. Like it's not.
I think that for the most part's true too.
I think the most you're going to see transferring is quarterbacks, and a lot of time you'll see them transfer, and then they won't even win the starting job at another college. So
I think this is just so stunning, I guess, because it's such a prominent program.
It is.
Clemson. They're so
I'm
dominant
stunned.
and
I'm
they
stunned that
transfer.
he started and
Right.
the first game that he, I could see
That
him
was
maybe,
another thing,
I was
yeah.
gonna say I could see him maybe if it continued, but I guess I see it also in his perspective because he wants another year of eligibility. So he was saying, okay, this is after the 4th game, and you're just now announcing this to me. That's a blow.
Right.
Like I think he would have stayed through at least 4 games if it was like they announced Trevor Lawrence the first game, and then it gave him those 3 other games to prove himself or let Trevor Lawrence make a mistake or something like that and step in. But I am very surprised that Dabo went to it.
Yeah.
I think Trevor Lawrence is. I think you can't really argue against that he's a better passer, but Kelly Bryant's their leader. I watched him in that Texas A&M game, and time after time he stepped up when he had to.
Absolutely.
And get those first
Yeah,
downs that
absolutely.
they needed, and he stayed calm under the pressure. I don't know if a freshman quarterback would be that way, and I don't know if people would look at Trevor Lawrence the way. But hey, I'm not in that locker room. As Nick Saban says, somebody's got to win the team. Somebody's got to win the team. Somebody's got to win the team.
Obviously, Trevor Lawrence.
Apparently,
won the
he's got,
team.
as I say, apparently
he
he's
did it.
got something going that where the team has more confidence in him. At Alabama, we saw that the wide receivers went on Tua's side more because he was giving each one of the wide receivers more opportunities than Jalen would, and they want to look good as well. So maybe you have a situation with that. So I want to move on. Talked about Kelly Bryant a lot there. I want to move on to another big story that just came out.
Right.
Which didn't really come out, but it's still a
Okay.
big story. Tiger Woods.
Oh, yes.
Tiger
Love
Woods
it.
won his 80th PGA Tour event. Is that what it?
Yes.
I'm not a big golf guy. Are you a big golf guy?
Love it.
I'm not a big golf guy. I mean,
Love
I
golf.
like the excitement that Tiger Woods brings, and I think honestly that he brings so much excitement that it creates viewership, creates
absolutely
crowds. It makes the sport of golf
Yes.
more fun when Tiger is good. So I'm excited for that. But I've never been a big golf guy. But I know the big names. So what do you got on it, Cole?
Well, I mean,
Since you know
look.
more about golf. Come on,
Look,
go with me.
all I gotta
Help me
say
out.
is this was so big for Tiger in so many ways, and it's so big for the sport of golf because they need stars like Tiger to do well. And Tiger has been the cash cow for the PGA Tour for who knows how long. I mean, I guess the entire time since he's been in the tour for pretty much.
Right.
And so for him to get this win, I mean, for golf to be fighting NFL football over the weekend, college football over the weekend, and seeing Tiger just dominate and do what he did on Saturday and Sunday, that just proved how much he means to this sport.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Cole,
he is everything.
one of my
to
favorite
golf.
videos from this
Everything.
past weekend is when he's walking to the 18th hole and he has
All those people following him.
over
Look at that.
I mean over 2,000 people right behind him, on his heels following him and watching him
Crazy.
the whole time, and I think that's a great image of him just walking with so many people behind him. And Cole, I've got a stat for you because I am a stat man. This is his 80th career PGA Tour victory, and his first win in 1,876 days. 5 years.
It's been a
1,876
while.
days.
It's
has
been a while.
And like I said, you want to root for him, even though he had that scandal and
Right,
everything
right.
that went on with it.
Oh, yeah, for
you
sure.
find yourself rooting for him because you just want the sport to be big and everybody wants to watch him.
Yeah.
You want to see him do that fist pump in the air and wear that red polo on Sundays.
And,
you want to
I mean,
see it.
And I mean, you just look at everything he's overcome, the multiple injuries he's had,
What was it?
and just
three back surgeries,
and I mean,
back
and
surgeries.
it's just such a vital part of your body
Yeah,
to play the sport of
I
golf.
was gonna say I've had back injuries. I've had a slip disc, and they're the worst. You can't do anything about it. You just sit there in pain,
absolutely
and
not.
you can't move certain ways, and it's tough.
I love
So
it.
Cole, before we get into your, because I know you want to talk about this. Before we get into that, I know you're. I don't know if you're looking at the same rundown I am that I sent you.
am.
Yeah,
I
see.
am.
Yeah, I know you see what's third on there. We're gonna skip past that just for a second. We're gonna go on some basketball news that came out a few days ago, 2 or 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler requesting a trade out of Minnesota. His top 3 candidates were Brooklyn, the Knicks, and the Clippers. So what that tells me is he doesn't want to play with a big-name guy. He wants to be the guy. And it also tells me that he wants to go to a place that can pay him next year.
Yeah, I mean, I think so, and I think there was people were making a big deal about this because they were trying to say that, oh, Jimmy Butler doesn't want to play with LeBron. Oh, Jimmy Butler doesn't want to play with this guy. You know, what is up with us just trying to dissect every player and think we know him?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
like,
Golden State
what is
Warriors.
up with that?
It's the Golden State Warriors.
Is this the Golden State Warriors
It is.
effect?
I think a lot of it is the Golden State Warriors effect because
not
we have
everybody wants to play with everybody.
right,
I mean,
but
like,
we want to see teams. We're so
we want super teams so badly, but then we complain about it when they all join together.
And we're so
don't get
entwined
it.
with championships. We're so entwined with you got to win a championship to be recognized, to
Exactly.
be great.
I just do
And
not
so
get it.
We put so much on that, so we're thinking, okay, they must care about championships. So they don't want to go play with another superstar.
Exactly. Everybody's shooting down
Selfish.
LeBron.
We call them selfish as soon as they do that. But then they're selfish as they go join. It's a kind of two-way
It's a
street
trade-off.
here.
It's a trade-off.
Because you're selfish if you're. Let's say you're LeBron, you go to the Miami Heat a few years back. You're selfish for doing that.
Or you're a
but
snake if you're like
I was
Kevin
gonna say,
Durant,
yeah,
you go to the
exactly. But if you're
Warriors.
LeBron and you go to, let's say the Knicks or something like that, you're selfish because you want all the stats and the glory for yourself and nobody else to share with.
Right.
Make up your mind, people.
Maybe Jimmy Butler just wants a new beginning. He just wants to play in a new city, a more interesting city.
I think he's got problems
with.
with. I think, as I say, I think he's got problems with a couple of the players in the locker room. I think he might have
Another
See,
good
I thought he
point.
would like Tom
Another good
Thibodeau
point.
at Minnesota. But maybe he's got Thibodeau fatigue since he plays them, every single minute of every game.
Plays hard defense too.
He does.
Plays
He
majorly
does.
hard defense too.
I think he's a great player.
It's tough.
Top 15 player in the NBA right now.
Most definitely.
So I think it could definitely change the landscape, and it can make a bad team look good. If you're the Knicks, I would be very seriously considering this, especially because you have the Kyrie Irving stuff. Possibly going to the Knicks. Him and
Right.
Jimmy Butler
He's
are very
definitely
good friends from the Team USA stuff. And you've also got Kristaps. You've got a great prospect in Kevin Knox. And if you can Jimmy Butler and Kyrie Irving, that is a very, very good team next
It's a
year.
lethal combo of two
All right,
different solid
Cole.
backcourts.
All right, Cole. We're off of all this stuff. Let's get back to football. Let's get back
All
to
right.
the story you want to talk about the most.
Yep.
Over this past weekend, we had a few teams. We had I think 6 teams get their first 6 NFL teams get their first win of the season. Biggest one,
Yep.
biggest team that
Yep.
got their first win in 2
Yep.
years
Lay it on
was
me.
the
Go
Cleveland
ahead.
Browns. You know who relative to that win, Cole?
Yep.
Baker Mayfield.
Yep.
So
Yep, go
tell
ahead.
me your thoughts. Just tell me, since you've got all this hyped up energy about it, tell me your thoughts about this Baker Mayfield. He is the savior. He is the angel for these Browns. What do you got?
Okay. I want to start by just
Deep breaths,
saying
deep breaths.
I watched this game on Thursday, and it was almost like it was scripted, Steven. I mean, like Hollywood could not have made a movie that scripted this.
But
just any
isn't
better.
that the great thing about sports? How many moments in sports do we have? Derek Jeter walk off, D Gordon, the anniversary of him hitting a home run after somebody got
those
in.
were great. But this was just like almost like wow. I mean, like really. I mean, like of course. Look,
Hard Knocks is still available in the regular season. You know what I'm saying? Hard Knocks is still playing their cards right.
Look, people are going to think that I'm a Baker hater. I'm not a Baker hater. I actually like the guy.
You're just a Sam Darnold lover, right?
I do like Sam Darnold. I think he has tremendous upside. And I think Baker, to a certain extent, has some upside to him. But I just saw this coming. Immediately when he came into the game and obviously started pulling them away and obviously started beating the Jets, I knew it was coming. I knew social media was going to explode. And everybody in sports media was just going to say, Baker hype! Look at Baker Mayfield! And all I want to say, guys, is relax. as my boy Aaron Rodgers said, RELA.
Get the brakes. See,
Just
I think,
pump the brakes.
but I think we do that with everybody. I don't think it's a Baker Mayfield specific thing because they do it with Sam Darnold after week 1. Oh my gosh, he threw a pick 6. Oh my gosh, he threw so many great passes
And
after the
that's
pick
my
6.
point.
And then after that, he hadn't looked good after that. And I think we're going to do that with anybody, though, because we want to see rookies and new players succeed, and we want to see this. And it's the Browns, we want to see them win. And, oh, my gosh, they actually got a win, and the quarterback played good.
Absolutely.
What is going on, And I think everybody was just waiting for the moment that Baker Mayfield could finally step in the game because you wanted to see him. He was drafted number 1. A lot of people don't think he was supposed to be drafted number 1. You want to see what he's got. And I think he was great in college, and, you can compare him to Russell Wilson, Drew Brees kind of thing because he's a shorter guy, got a big arm. I think we're going to do this no matter what. We're going to do this with every single rookie quarterback. This past weekend, the only reason he's overshadowed was Josh Allen hurdling guys, over here versus the Vikings.
Awesome.
We're gonna hype up everybody. We're gonna say, oh, Josh Allen looked really good after Nathan Peterman, after he finally got the start. Nathan Peterman didn't. The Bills killed the Vikings when they're underdogs. You can look at Josh Rosen next week. I mean, we're going to analyze every single thing he does when he starts his first game. I just think we want to see rookies come in and change the landscape. We want to see the next big guy. So we're always going to hype up whatever happens, even if it's not that big of a deal. Like, what did Baker throw? Did Baker even throw a touchdown? I don't even think Baker threw a touchdown. I know he ran for. I know he caught one.
No, he caught the 2-point conversion.
2-point conversion.
I don't think. No, I don't think he actually did throw one.
I don't think he threw a touchdown. I think
we're hyping all this Hyde ran both touchdowns.
He looked great. He did look good in the time he got to play, and he looked comfortable. And I'm excited to see what he has next. But I agree with you. We pump the brakes on everybody. Anytime you see a rookie do great in week 1, pump the brakes.
I mean, just be fair to the guy. I mean, he had his debut game, and look. Everybody looks good their first game. Why? Because nobody has film on you. The defense isn't preparing for you. Nobody's preparing for Baker Mayfield. The Jets were preparing, and might I add, rookie quarterback on a short week and 3 games in 11 days. Please, everybody, get off of Sam Darnold's back. I mean, good Lord.
Great for the Browns, though. I'm happy for them. They got to win.
Praise Baker, but don't be
I hope Baker does great, though, because I'm tired of the quarterbacks going in and out of the Browns. I want to see Baker there for a long time and finally succeed, and the Browns to at least be decent. Just be decent. You don't have to be great. You don't have to be. Just don't be bad. Just be a decent team that is formidable each week.
But don't try and rush them into Canton this early is all I'm trying to say, Browns fans. I mean, come on. Jeez. I mean, like, after Thursday night, I think they were trying to get ready to go to the Super Bowl.
Hey,
like,
you got to
go ahead and put them in the Hall of Fame.
Hey, man.
Just calm down.
The Browns are a good team this year. They're a formidable team. They got a great defense after all those draft picks are finally coming to fruition. You got a pretty great offense, and you got weapons finally. You actually have weapons.
What are you proposing to me right now?
I'm not saying they're going to go to the Super Bowl. No, I'm not saying anything like that. No, they won't win the division.
Okay. I'm just saying, I didn't think you were that crazy, but you had me fooled for a second.
I mean, how many years has it been since we can say Cleveland is a formidable team now? You're not going in that thinking we're going to win.
So what you're trying to say is you think that teams have to actually respect them.
You do. You have to respect the Browns this year. And I'm happy about it because you root for the underdog.
I'll give you that slightly, but I will say this, and we can end on this. I do think that the Raiders will handle the Browns easily this Sunday.
Okay, real quick, I want to touch on one more football news. We had another Clay Matthews penalty in the new roughing the passer rule where you can't land your weight on it. Mm-hmm. He actually talked to what's the quarterback's name? I'm blanking right now. Cole.
I'm not 100%
okay,
sure.
You're not. You don't even know what I'm talking about. It's fine.
Was it Ryan Tannehill?
No,
I'm guessing
no. Ryan Tannehill played the Raiders. Who'd Green Bay play?
Oh, the Redskins. So it was Alex Smith.
See, Clay Matthews even talked to Alex Smith after the game was over and said, what do I need to do differently? Like, how did I hit you? And Alex Smith said, I thought it was a clean hit. I thought you did fine.
Aaron Rodgers said something earlier too, and in like 2 weeks ago, he said he didn't think that the roughing the passer call should have been called either. The one that was called on him.
And so it's just bogus at this point. You got to hit. You can't. You're going to get hurt trying to not put your. And we actually had a defensive lineman, Miami defensive lineman. Let me see his name real quick. He actually tore his ACL. Out for the season because he tried to got his foot got stuck in the ground when he was trying to get his body weight off of Derek Carr. His defensive lineman William Hayes for the Dolphins actually tore his ACL. trying not to put his weight on Derek Carr. So, I mean, when you're tackling somebody, your weight's going to fall him. I get you don't want the defensive linebacker to pick him up and slam him. You're trying to avoid that,
right.
But you can't. They have to land on him. That's just it's tackle football. It's going to happen. I'm completely with Clay Matthews coming out and saying that the NFL is getting soft. It is. Stop that. I get you protect your moneymakers. We had this talk last week, and I'm gonna get out of it as soon as possible this week. But come on, we're getting soft. I don't want to see roughing the passer penalty when you're just tackling him. I get if it's above the head, if it's looks nasty, or if it if he's literally picking him up and slamming him, or he's late hit, call it. But if he's hitting him and his body weight just falls on him when he's hitting him, don't call it.
Yeah.
It is a football play, and it's perfectly fine. Okay. Whew. Got that out of my system. I feel better now.
And I will leave that with this. I'm just going to reiterate, the NFL was going to do whatever it takes to protect their cash cows, and their cash cows are the quarterbacks.
I get that. And you watch the games. You don't watch the games.
Because without the quarterbacks, know as well as I do that nobody would watch the game.
I agree. You're a Colin Cowherd guy. I'm sure you saw him talk about we don't watch the games to watch linebackers or defensive linemen. Hardly we watch. We don't. We get excited about quarterbacks. We watch it for quarterbacks. Okay.
What was the big draw of the Super Bowl last year?
I get that.
Tom Brady.
I get it. But come on now.
Go ahead.
Football plays.
You can move on.
All right, move on. Let's go really quick through this weekend rewind because we took a long time going through the news under review segment. I want to start off with it's Bama than everybody else, right, Cole?
Yeah.
I think we can look at we can look at teams, we can look at games ahead on schedules, and we can just say it's Bama up here. And then I think they're at least head and shoulders above even the next team like Clemson or Georgia or Ohio State. They're putting everything together all at once.
Everybody else looks good too.
They look scary.
There's just some other good teams out there.
There are. I'm not saying that Bama's the only good team. I'm just saying I think it's Bama, and then everybody else.
Well, I think for a while now that's been kind of like the Crimson Standard, as they call it, is Alabama, of course. But I think we're going to find out a lot about a lot of teams this, and of course we're going to talk about these couple of games this weekend that they're going to really prove some of the pretenders and the contenders. I think Ohio State, Penn State,
right,
Notre Dame, and Stanford. Of course, we'll talk about that in just a bit. But what I'm trying to say is I think we're going to find out a lot about these teams as the season continues. I think we're going to find out a lot about Clemson in the couple of weeks, especially now that Trevor Lawrence is the guy.
It'll be nice to see it.
Right.
That draws, like we were just talking about, draws crowds, draws attention.
Exactly.
All right. I'm always right. I just want to go ahead and point that out. Cool.
Okay.
Did you happen to see the Stanford-Oregon game?
I watched every bit of it. Go ahead.
Stanford said, Stanford was breaking my heart a little bit here. Stanford was breaking my heart a little bit here. For those of you who didn't see it, Oregon was up, I believe, is it 21-10, 24-10, something like that?
Now, the last thing that I do remember was they were up, I think, was it 31-24, and then they fumbled the ball as they were trying to.
Okay, so it was 24-10, and Oregon was about to score. Or actually, they did score, but then it got called back. It got called touchdown on the field. It got called back because his foot hit the outside of the pylon, which is technically out of bounds before the ball crossed. So they get Oregon has the worst goal line plays you can possibly have.
Absolutely.
Not calls,
no,
but just execution. Bad. First play, they fumble it over the quarterback's head. They get the ball back. Second play, they get a few yards back. Third play, they fumble it over his head again. Stanford takes it 90-some-odd yards back to the house. It is now a 24-17 game. Oregon then comes back, scores another touchdown, and then Stanford says, all right, we'll match you and we'll score another touchdown. And then they go like that, and then Oregon, I think they were about to put it away. They were up by 3. They're running the ball. They get a first down with 2 minutes left. They run the ball some more, which I would do the same because Stanford still has a timeout left. Your running back tries to reach over to get the first down to put the game finally away.
And
fumbles it.
Stanford
immediately picks up KJ Costello. Let me just say, that is a man on a mission. He looked great in that game. Justin Herbert looked great in that game, but this is the Oregon's quarterback, but KJ Costello looked like a beast out in that field, led his team to touchdowns and the last field goal when they needed it. It was a great game. It was a great game to watch, even if you're not a Stanford Oregon fan. I'm rooting for Stanford just because I got to prove Cole wrong every step of the way. But it was a fun game to watch. It was overtime. It was last second stuff. Stanford made an incredible comeback. They hurt my heart a little bit because I wanted them to beat Oregon down just to see Stanford's really good, Cole. But you got to do what you got to do.
Bottom line.
Steven's right.
No. Bottom line is your Cardinal got lucky. That's what it boils down to. If Oregon holds on to the ball, they win. Bottom line.
Hey, usually championship teams are lucky.
Look. I get it. Hey, kudos to Stanford and David Shaw. That was an incredibly coached game by Shaw in the moment of that overtime, and of course to try and get them to tie the game. So I give Stanford credit for that because that was an awesome comeback, of course.
Okay.
But I will say,
go ahead.
You got to cut them some slack here.
They got out through the.
We'll see how they do this week against Notre Dame.
Yes, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Are basketball schools good at football now? Is it? Kentucky, Duke, Hughes?
Hey, look, you watch Kentucky play Mississippi State, and they actually look like a team that could threaten a couple of teams in the SEC this year. I'm not saying they're going to beat Georgia.
Kentucky will have a good test this week. They play South Carolina. I think it'll be another good test for them.
Well, I would say Mississippi State's a better squad than South Carolina.
I do too. I agree, but I'm just saying that's another good test for them.
I think it's a good test, but I think at the end of the day, I think Kentucky can handle South Carolina. I think that Kentucky is really looking forward to this matchup with Georgia. I do not think now in years past, I think you would see that Kentucky kind of cowers to play Georgia.
They're looking okay.
I think they're looking forward. I think Benny Snell Jr. is looking forward to that game against Georgia.
Cole.
No, again, I'm not saying they're going to beat them. I'm just saying I think Kentucky is a team that we can't just we no longer can just throw under the table and just say. What do we say?
Pump the brakes.
No, again, I'm not like the Cleveland fans. I'm not sitting here saying the Browns are Super Bowl bound. I'm sitting here saying I think Kentucky can at least finish second best in the SEC East.
Yeah, on a very weak SEC East team.
I'm just saying,
SEC
already beat
East
Florida
this year.
Definitely can beat Tennessee and Vanderbilt. If they beat South Carolina on Saturday, I think they can beat Missouri. I think they finish second. I think the only team that can best them is Georgia. I think that's the only loss in the SEC East they take this year is Georgia.
Who do they play in the West this year? Mississippi State and who else?
Mississippi State and I
don't have the schedule in front of me.
I don't have them in front of me either. I really don't.
Anyways, so Duke, Hughes, Kentucky all are doing great. What is life?
I think this is just proving the landscape of college football is just as wide open as it's ever been besides Alabama.
This is Steven's stat of the day, even though it floated around quite frequently. This isn't my normal, very obscure fact that no one's seen before, but I think it's a great stat. I think it was very interesting. This is the first time Duke and Kentucky have been ranked in the same football AP poll since September 14th, 1957.
Wow.
Do you know how many times they've been ranked in the same basketball AP poll since that time?
It's got to be over at least 100 times.
547 times.
Wow. I'm not even in the same ballpark. Wow. That's an amazing stat. You said this was the first time.
First time since Duke and Kentucky have been. This is the first time Duke and Kentucky have been ranked in the same football AP poll since 1957. They've been ranked at the same basketball AP poll. Golly, AP poll 547 times in that span.
That is amazing. Wow.
So, basketball schools are finally figuring out this football sport. Did you? What happened to Army in Oklahoma? What was going on? Oklahoma, we have this top 4 team, this team that looks unbeatable against everybody, and then they go play Army, and then they have to beat them in overtime.
I think you watch that game, and this happens all the time when these teams play these triple option teams. They struggle. It's normally a short week because you're normally looking ahead and you're preparing for the next team you're going to play that actually has a different kind of offense. It's just the triple option.
How does triple option work? I get it. Well, I know how it works. I'm just saying. There's what 3 or 4 teams
correctly.
It's hard. But the execution is nearly impossible because of the blocking schemes.
It's fun. It's what am I trying to say here? it's surrounded by just guys who are committed to one thing, and that's running the football.
Yeah, but I feel like
None of
if
these
you're
guys
so
are coming
you're
in
so
here-
one dimensional in that I don't know how teams
Well,
just don't stack
absolutely.
everything up and just say, look, you're not going to run the ball on us. You're going to have to pass the ball on us to
Right.
do anything, and then just they win. Like because normally when you can make a team one dimensional, you've won the game. Normally on a normal team, if you can make a normal
that's
team
generally your
one
rule of thumb
dimensional,
in football. Yeah, you want to make them one dimensional.
you want to make them either only be able to pass the ball or whatever, and then just be like, okay, you're not going to pass it on us because you can't run it on us.
I
You win
think,
the game.
I think
I don't-
Army just came in there and they knew what they were going to do.
So-
they were going to run
so
the football,
is-
and Oklahoma was unable to stop
Our
them.
teams like Oklahoma, normally people say,
I mean, look at Georgia Southern comes in a few years ago, and they gave Alabama fits. for
Right,
that
that's what I'm
triple
saying.
option.
I think-
it just
I think-
happens. That's just how it goes.
so you think it's just a triple option thing?
I
You
think
don't
it's
think
just a triple option.
You don't think his teams are going in thinking Oklahoma's their Super Bowl?
Well, of course, Army going in there is thinking that this is their most hyped up game. Of course,
Right.
I mean, yeah, but I think Oklahoma would have been great.
So you don't. So you just think it was a triple option. You don't think it could have happened with any
triple
team.
option, and of course, what you said, Army. This was pretty much their national
Okay.
championship.
So
was beating Oklahoma.
so
Of
Oklahoma's
course.
going to bounce
That's
back.
always the case.
So Oklahoma's
though.
going to bounce back and be fine.
I think so. I think they'll win the Big 12. I think easily they'll win the Big 12. Yeah.
Okay.
I think
so.
they're
You
fine.
think the
no
West Virginia?
No
do
panic
they
at
play
all.
West Virginia? They don't play West Virginia. Regular season, do they?
They have to because
Oh, they do?
They don't have a conference championship. They have a straight up schedule.
Oh yeah,
right?
you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
I think I'm right on that.
I think you're right, too.
Yeah, but I think they play West Virginia later on in the season.
So that West Virginia have a chance.
Yeah, I think they have a chance, but at the end of the day, I just think Oklahoma is a deeper team than West Virginia is. I think they have a better roster than West Virginia does. I mean, maybe at the end of the
agree
day,
with that.
maybe West Virginia gives them a good game. I mean, I think now I will say this: I do think Oklahoma can slip up at some point this year. I just don't think it'll be against West Virginia. I think it'll be some team. Like maybe Oklahoma State might, or maybe Texas might sneak up on them this year. Who knows? But I think Oklahoma will slip up and lose one game, but I don't think it's going to be to a team that they're going to get up for like West Virginia.
Okay. Is Texas back, Cole?
Wow, it's kind of ironic that I just mentioned Texas beating Oklahoma, and I'm going to go ahead and say this. No, they're not back. I mean,
TCU
yes,
and USC wins here.
yeah, but
They only have one loss. They're 3-1.
were we really riding high on USC and TCU to begin with? I mean,
we're not riding high on it, but that's good wins for the. Okay,
no,
for,
it's great wins for the
I was gonna
program.
say
No,
for
no.
what Texas has been to
Absolute-
beat those teams this year. To me,
yeah.
that's big.
Right,
To me,
no.
we're getting there.
Right.
We're not there, but we're getting
we're
there.
not there, but we're getting there.
That's what that is to me.
I like
Stepping
that.
stones.
I like that.
Stepping
we're not
stones.
there, but we're getting.
Stepping stones. But it's progression. It's progression. It's not regression. We've seen them. Like we keep getting these one wins out of Texas, and we're like Texas is back, and then the
Right.
next week they go and lose to a team they shouldn't. So I'm just asking, are we gonna see in Texas now that's gonna win the games they should, and not lose these games that not get
No.
those big wins and then just go out and lose?
Look, I have a friend of mine who's a Texas fan, and he's pretty realistic too. And we've talked numerous times about Texas program and where they're at. I still think they're a year away. So is it nice to get these two wins over TCU and over USC? Of course, because they're brand name teams, and one of them is one of your rivals. So naturally, you want to beat them. But are they necessarily back? No, because they're not winning consistently. Their recruiting still has to get back up. I think they have a pretty good recruiting class coming in next year. So no, Texas is not quote unquote back. They're not contending yet. They're not going to win the Big 12 this year. But I do think they're going to win a couple of games. I do think they're going to win a few games, and then they can give teams like Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. I think they can give them a good ball game. I do. So,
Okay.
we'll see. We'll just have to see how the schedule plays
I agree
out.
with that. Like I said, progression, and I'm excited.
It's
for that.
progress. Tom Herman
Progress.
is finally starting to see progress on the field, and that's what you want
And
at the end of
then
the day.
last thing I want to talk about in Weekend Reunion for College is Old Dominion. That is all.
That was rough. Gus Golden comments and says Texas is not back. I agree with Gus.
I agree. Like I said, I agree with Gus. I'm excited to see progression. So let's go into some NFL. First game I want to talk about is just how much I hate Cole. Not even a game.
I know why.
Not even a game. I just want to say I hate Cole. Saints Falcons is a great game. It was fun to watch. A lot of offense, not much defense. Falcons are hurting without Keanu Neal and Deion Jones. I think great quarterback battle. You saw both of them in fantasy terms. Both of them scored 40 plus in fantasy.
Amazing.
It was great. It was great to watch. I think some poor defensive plays led to some stuff.
Oh, it was so bad. The defenses were so bad on Sunday.
It was hard to watch.
It was awful. It was awful to watch.
Drew Brees hit a milestone, didn't he? It was most.
It was most completions in one game.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
No, I thought it was most completions career. I thought he passed Brett Favre.
I think so. I thought it was.
I thought he passed it. I thought he passed it to he passed Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas got it, and Drew Brees hit most. What was it? What did you say?
Most completions.
Most career completions.
Most career.
That's what I thought.
I think you might be right. You might be right.
Most career completions hit a milestone.
It's a lot.
Calvin Ridley came out, had a 3-touchdown game. 100.
Beautiful. Yeah, it was awesome.
What was that 130 plus yards, something like that.
130 plus yards.
So
3 TDs. I mean,
great game. It was fun to watch. It was. I hated it. As a Falcons fan, sucked because y'all just came in Atlanta and beat us. Something's got to happen with that defense. You know, every game I think we look. I'm like, okay, I'm a little bit excited.
Atlanta's defense, they weren't healthy. The Saints still have no excuse because they were healthy and still gave up all those points. So they still have.
Falcons look better though it was the Saints defense, but their offense just keeps looking better and better under Steve Sarkisian's second year.
I think so too. I think Devontae Freeman, once he comes back healthy,
that'll help a lot
out
too.
the Falcons offense a lot too.
Because he's another dynamic back.
He's a big key to their
offense. Well, Tevin
offense.
Coleman has looked great.
He has
as a replacement,
but he's not as good of a pass catcher as Devontae Freeman.
I think Tevin Coleman might be a better pass catcher than Devontae Freeman. I think Devontae Freeman's a better run between the tackles guy.
I don't know. I'd have
That's
to
what they use it for.
I'm not even a Falcons fan, but I disagree on that.
It's close. But it's so weird. That's a weird dynamic to me, just because they're such a similar back to me.
Let me ask you this though, Steven. Looking at that game and you watch the NFC South, is this the most competitive division in all of football? Wouldn't you have to say the NFC South with the Buccaneers, Falcons, Saints, and of course the Panthers? Is this not the most competitive division?
You know, it's been
any
that
of these
way.
4 teams can win this division.
I was gonna say, I mean, ever since the year that it was like a negative record won the division, ever since that year, which was what, 3 or 4 years ago?
It's always competitive.
It's been uber competitive.
I mean, this year I could make a case for any of those 4 teams winning this division.
But I can make what was it? Was it last year that the Falcons and Saints went? The year before that, it was super close. I mean. Every year since, like I said, I was going to say every year.
Was it last year where 3 of the teams from the division made it to the playoffs? Wasn't it last year? All 3.
Panthers make the playoffs?
Panthers made the playoffs.
Yeah,
the
3
Falcons
teams
did too. Yeah, it was 3
teams.
teams. The Saints won the division. Yeah. So I'm telling you, this division is so paper thin separated from each team.
It is. But they all have great records, though. They all have great teams. They play.
Yeah.
They play. It's not just in the division. They don't just kill each other and then go on with it. They're not just bad.
Right.
They're great teams. So I mean, it's fun to watch. What's up with our Pats here? What's going on? They just lost to the Lions. They're not looking good. Their offense looks terrible.
Obviously,
their defense is just there. It's not a Patriots typical defense of their defense is usually top 10, 15 in the in the NFL. It's not looking that way. Their offense just stagnant, doesn't look good. They don't have a running back consistency. They don't have any wide receivers that can do anything right now. Tom Brady doesn't have that reliable guy. I think they'll look better with Julian Edelman back, but I'm still not sold on anything with the Pats this year at all. They don't look good.
No,
and I don't think it's a Tom Brady. I don't trust anybody on the Patriots offense right now, not named Tom Brady or Gronkowski.
Look, you watched that game on Sunday, and look.
Was it Sunday night?
It was Sunday night game, of course. It was bad, of course, but the Patriots, again, have their entire schedule in front of them. They haven't played a team from their division yet. They play the Dolphins this week, which the Dolphins are 3-0, so that's kind of a concern. They're leading the division right now. I think at the end of the day, the Patriots will be fine. I think that right now everybody's kind of worried about it because
I'm not sold at all.
Well, they've done this before. They got blown out on Monday night a few years back against the Kansas City Chiefs, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, the dynasty's over.
Yeah, but
the Patriots are done." And they bounced back and went to the Super Bowl.
They looked great the first game. They didn't look good the second game. They didn't look good at all last game. I'm not sold.
Look, they play the Texans the first week. Texans have a pretty good defense. Look,
but the Texans are 0-3.
You're not going to win that game in week 2 against the Jaguars at the Jaguars.
I get that.
The Jaguars had that game circled the entire season.
And I get that.
You weren't winning that game. Regardless.
I get that. The Jags are a great team. Texans are 0-3.
Sunday night, that looked bad.
Texans are 0-3, and that's the only team they look good against.
I get it, Steven. I get what you're saying, but at the end of the day, it's still the Patriots. They just find ways to do it, man. I can't explain it. You can't explain it, but every single year,
like I said, this is
time,
the year. This is the year. This is the year I want to see something. I want to see something different.
Until they prove me otherwise, I'm gonna.
I don't blame you for that. I don't blame you for that. All right.
Until they prove me otherwise.
So we have 6 teams get their first win of the season this past week. The Browns, the Seahawks, the Bills, the Giants, Steelers, and the Lions all got wins this week, and it looks good for those teams finally getting out of the hole. Cole, I want to go ahead and jump ahead a little bit to our important games for next week.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be such a good weekend of football.
Actually, I take that back. Why don't you go ahead and give me your top 4, your playoff?
My playoff top 4.
I want you to give me your playoff top 4, and then I want you to give me your next 2 out.
Next 2 out. First.
So and then we're going to talk about the next week's big games because I want to get your playoff top 4 before we talk about these big games.
I mean, Steven, I would like to say that I have a different top 4 than I had a few weeks ago, but right now my top 4 is pretty much the same. I'm gonna change the order up though.
Okay.
Bama's still number 1. There's
Okay.
no disputing that. I will put Ohio State number 2 though.
Okay.
They do look that impressive, and now Urban Meyer's back. You know, all that controversy is stirred up and whatnot.
We'll get it. We'll get to see a good test this week.
Well, of course, like you said, they get to prove themselves this week against Penn State. They're number 2. Georgia's number 3 in my book. Still look impressive. They have a lot of games in front of them to prove that their resume is better than what it looks like.
So you still have 2 SEC teams in this playoff.
Still 2 SEC teams, no
It's a
doubt.
bold move, Cotton.
Oklahoma at number 4 because I'm telling you this, Kyler Murray. I'm not going to say he's a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield, but my God, in this offense for Oklahoma, he looks so much smoother and more in control of that offense than Baker Mayfield.
He looks well. I think he's just a much more comfortable runner.
He
Baker,
is.
Like Baker was
He's
a great
so
runner.
mobile.
Baker was a great runner in college, but I think Kyler is a better runner. So I think
Much
he's just
faster.
He is
more athletic,
he is
more athletic.
But I think Baker was a better passer.
So I think it's Bama, Ohio State, Georgia, Oklahoma, and then my first 2 out is Notre Dame.
Oh, you have Notre Dame. Okay.
Notre Dame and then Clemson.
Okay.
Because Clemson right now I'm still trying to figure out because I need to see Trevor Lawrence more. I need to know if there's I need to see it more. I need to know if it's going to be
we do have some differences here. I have number 1 as Alabama. My number 2 just based on talent. I think Trevor Lawrence is a great passer. They're looking good for the rest of the year. They don't play very hard schedule for the rest of the year. I had Clemson at number 2. I trust in Dabo. Number 3, this is where it gets kind of dicey for me.
It does. I mean,
it's
these
tough.
teams haven't separated themselves.
I was about to say,
by that much
like
just
I
yet.
said at the beginning of the show, I think it's Bama and then everybody else.
Clearly.
I'll take Ohio State at number 3, and then just to stick with it, Cole, I got to go my guy Stanford at number 4.
Oh my gosh!
And I
cannot wait until they lose Saturday to Notre Dame, and you can get off.
They have a very tough schedule.
They have a daunting schedule.
They
There's
do.
no way they get out of this.
They do. And if they win it all, you can't keep them out though.
No, there's
they
no
went
way.
out. You can't keep
There's
them out.
no way. I just don't think there's any way they do.
But I don't see, because of the tough schedules around, and I think a couple teams will make it out alive. I don't think you can put 2 SEC teams in the top 4. So my next 2 out are probably Oklahoma and Georgia.
Okay.
I think Georgia's a 1-loss team this year. But I mean, like I said, I just don't, with all these teams with the tough schedules, I just don't see 2 SEC teams making it to the playoffs. And my last 3 are just so difficult, though. It hurts because I don't want to leave Oklahoma out. I don't want to leave Ohio State out. I don't want to leave Stanford out.
It's tough.
It's like, what?
So who's your first 2 out?
It was Oklahoma and Georgia.
Oklahoma and Georgia?
Yeah, are my first 2 out. I think Oklahoma, just especially after this past weekend, they're going to slip up somewhere.
Well, we're going to definitely see. I mean, these are all, like I said, all these teams are more than capable of winning a playoff. They're all talented enough. They're all well coached. I mean, any of them can win it all, certainly. And, I mean, I can't tell you which team would be the best matchup for Alabama. Vegas odds released their odds against, playoff teams if they did play. So we'll just see how it works out. So.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that definitely. So, Cole, we have 2 games we want to talk about right now.
Okay.
These are the biggest games next week. Which one's College Game Day at? Do you know?
They're at College Station I'm not College Station. College, is it State College? What is Penn State's? What is Penn State's the campus is called?
I think is it
State College?
State College sounds right.
I think
Happy
it's State
Valley.
College.
Why don't you say Happy Valley?
Happy Valley's
Happy
the
Valley.
stadium, of course, but
Happy Valley.
It's anyways, yeah, they're at Penn State.
They're
State,
at Happy
State,
Valley.
yeah. That's the game day game.
So game day game is Ohio State, Penn State. It's at like we just said, it's at Penn State. Ohio State is a 3.5-point favorite. What you got for me, Cole?
Not much. I think Ohio State's going to win the game. I think Penn State will do some numbers, but I think Ohio State at the end of the day will win the game.
Wow. This is tough, man, because Trace McSorley is undefeated at home. Penn State. Happy Valley is a tough environment. It's a night game, correct?
It is.
Oh, my gosh, that's
It's going to be a whiteout. They've already said it's going to be a
Oh,
whiteout.
man, it's a whiteout, too.
Still,
That's
though.
tough. That's
Still.
one of the toughest environments. A whiteout night game in Happy Valley is one of the toughest environments playing in all of college football. And Dwayne Haskins has never done it before.
I'm still taking Ohio State.
I'm taking Ohio State, but golly,
the football
barely.
power index
by the
favors
skin
Penn
of their
State.
teeth, they're going to win last-second field goal.
Right.
Last-second field goal, Ohio State wins.
The FBI
what I got.
football power index favors Penn State 53.6%.
That's
It's basically a coin flip.
It's a tough environment, man.
I mean,
it's tough.
Ohio State's a favorite on the road, 3.5-point favorite.
Yeah.
This is a coin flip game, but I think at the end of the day, Dwayne Haskins is a better quarterback than Trace McSorley.
He is. Mine's not even necessarily that
So-
Dwayne Haskins is that much better than Trace McSorley. It's just that Ohio State has more talent right now.
They do.
And I think that
They
Penn
do.
State is hurting without
It's
Joe
gonna be a
Moore.
great game, though,
Hurting without
regardless.
Joe Moorhead and
It's gonna be a
Saquon
great
Barkley
game.
gone. They're just
gonna be
hurting
a great
without him.
game.
It will. I'm excited for it. Like I said, any game late night, Happy Valley, especially a whiteout, is a great game to watch.
Looking forward to it.
Next game is my Stanford Cardinals versus the
My Stanford
They're
Cardinal.
mine.
You
They're
act
mine
like
now.
You own the joint.
I do. I own them now. I've put my hope and dreams in them, like I did LSU, who let me down last year. But we're not.
Yeah, we saw how that worked out.
It's neither here nor there. Versus the those Catholic guys over
Those
at Notre Dame.
Catholic guys.
Uh,
I hope no Notre Dame
it's
alum are
it's
watching.
at Notre Dame. Notre Dame is a 5.5-point favorite. What you got, Cole?
Like I said, I think Stanford's going to drop this game. I think Notre Dame's really talented. I think they're on a mission to prove everybody wrong who, basically counted them out last year. I think that, of course, is it Wambush? Is that the quarterback's name?
No, they changed it now. They put in that the backup last week.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Let me look at
What
his
is
name.
what is the guy's name?
Well, let's find out, Cole.
I cannot remember what his name is. But regardless, I think Notre Dame's going to win the game. I think Stanford's been kind of skidding by their teeth lately. You saw how they looked in those first few games against San Diego State and
Ian Book is the new quarterback, by the way.
He looked pretty impressive. I did see him play a little bit in that game, but I thought it was just because they were doing mop-up duty. But that's just being
No,
me.
he actually. I don't think he started, but he played most of the game. If he didn't start, he played most of the game last week, and it wasn't like a mop-up duty. It was like a, hey, let's test this guy out.
Well, I like I said, I think that Notre Dame. I think it's going to be a great game again. I think this is another close matchup, but I think that Stanford has been cheating death almost in some of their games they played, especially last week against Oregon. I think it's going to catch up to them this week. I think Notre Dame goes into where is Stanford located again? Is it?
No, what? No, it's at Notre Dame. It's at Notre Dame.
Oh, it is at Notre Dame. Okay, so I think Stanford comes into town. I think Notre Dame puts it down on them. I do.
Well, I mean, do I even need to make a pick, or do you already know?
Yeah, I mean, I know you're gonna pick Stanford. So just go ahead. And
Stanford's
pick
going to win because Notre Dame is always going to do what they always do and fall down. Everybody's talking them, saying, "Oh, Notre Dame's good again." Nope, they're going to be bad again because it happens every year.
5.5 point favors.
You know how you said that you always go with the Patriots and winning eventually. I always go with Notre Dame and losing eventually. So KJ Costello, I'm going to use
Texas and Notre Dame losing.
Exactly. There we go. Eventually, maybe not the first few games. Everybody's going to hype them up a little bit. You got to give them a pedestal for them to fall off of.
Well,
I'm
I
gonna
like
use your
Notre
same-
Dame to win Saturday.
I'm gonna
I don't
use-
know about anything else, but I know I
I'm going to use your same argument you used with Ohio State, Penn State. KJ Costello is a better quarterback than whoever they can put out there, Brandon Wimbush or Ian Book. So I have Stanford winning. I'll say they win by a touchdown.
Well, the line is 5.5 going Notre Dame's way, and I trust people in Las Vegas. They know a thing or two.
They're going to take Notre Dame and the points?
I'll take Notre Dame and the points 5.
What? So they're going to win by a touchdown?
At least a touchdown.
Wow.
At least.
Wow.
I mean, it's in South Bend. Come on,
It
man.
is in South Bend, but
look. One place I know that Notre Dame plays their best at is in South Bend. That's where touchdown Jesus is. Come on, man. They don't lose when touchdown Jesus is right there. Come on.
All right. You know what time it is, Cole?
I think I do.
It's
our favorite time.
This is probably my favorite segment, Cole. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's the final. It's great.
Honestly, it's probably some of the viewers' favorite too.
One of the best parts is because I can tell you to shut up and just keep going.
Exactly.
It's probably my favorite part about it. It is that time for the 2-minute drill. We're gonna give you some teams. I actually have mostly college football games this week, Cole. If you got any NFL games you want to add afterwards,
I will pull them up. I have them.
Oh no, I have some NFL
you have
games.
Some?
I lied to you. I got 3 NFL games.
Okay, well you just give them to me. I'm gonna give you
Cole.
my prediction.
Well, I'm gonna give you super fast picks. You
All
ready?
right, go.
And your time starts now. BYU Washington. It is at Washington, who is a 17.5-point favorite.
Washington, no doubt.
Washington. It's at Washington. BYU has played great, but
BYU did upset Wisconsin a few weeks ago.
I was gonna say they played great, but
still played Washington.
It's Washington.
Yeah.
Oregon Cal. It is at Cal. Oregon's a 2.5-point favorite. Oregon actually went up a ranking after losing to Stanford.
I mean, yeah, you gotta give them some respect for it. I think Oregon still wins this game.
Justin Herbert looked great against Stanford. I think he is going to be really good. He's rated as a number 1 quarterback prospect. He's 6'5". He's got a cannon for an arm. Oregon's gonna win, easily cover the points. West Virginia at Texas Tech. West Virginia's a 3.5-point favorite.
High scoring, close game, but West Virginia wins.
I completely agree with everything you just said, Cole. I think now the team has any defense, especially Texas Tech. West Virginia comes in there. Will Greer has another big game and wins it, I'll say, by 3.
By 3.
Well, it's 3.5 point. Their favorite's 3.5 points, so I say they win by 3. Florida, Mississippi State. It's at Mississippi State.
Oh, Dan Mullen's homecoming game.
I know. That's why I picked this game, and Mississippi State is an 8-point favorite.
You know, people are going to call me crazy, but for some reason, I just got a feeling that Florida is going to go in there and they're going to upset Mississippi State. I know people won't consider an upset because Mississippi State is probably not ranked. I don't think they're ranked anymore.
They aren't.
But I will consider an upset in my
I'm going to pick Florida to win as well.
I'll take
close
Florida.
game.
Close game, yeah.
All right, we got 30 seconds. Let's go through these last 3 NFL games. Vikings-Rams. It's at the Rams, 6.5-point favorites.
Yeah. I'll take the Rams.
I'll take the Rams and the points, especially after Vikings got beat by the Bills. Dolphins-Pats is at New England. There is 7-point favorite.
Back. Look, they own Miami. Come on, Patriots own them. They own Miami.
They do.
Come on,
it's in Foxborough. It's in Foxborough.
Them.
They're going to own them. I agree. Take New England and the points. Browns-Raiders.
Raiders, I already said. There's no way Baker Mayfield bounces back after having that huge game last week. No, the Browns come back to earth, falling back to earth this week against the Raiders. John Gruden and the Raiders get their first win.
I say the Browns win. I'll go different from you, and I'll say the Oakland Raiders and John Gruden will start 0-4.
You and Browns Nation are really hopeful for this.
All right, this is what's going to happen. Browns are going to win. You're going to see a lot of fear coming to those John Gruden lovers. I'm going to say. I'm not even just because the Browns are going to win. I'm just saying because John Gruden's going to start 0-4 and he's supposed to be their savior.
Wow. Thank you so much for those who have joined us today. Steven had some hot takes, and of course he had his awesome stat of the day as usual. We covered a lot of ground today. It was great. Steven, any final words?
This week we will tweet out Steven's stat of the day. I've been bad about social media this week, guys.
You have been.
I've been very bad.
Why have you been so bad?
I've been very
depriving
busy.
the viewers.
I've been very busy. I know, guys. We're gonna tweet more this week. Please tune into Twitter, Facebook. I'm gonna try
to give you all the updates from there.
I was saying I'm gonna try to put the same stuff I put on Twitter on Facebook for those of you who use Facebook and not Twitter, and those who use Twitter but not Facebook. And, it's too much social media. Too much. I feel like an old man. But we will have Steven's stat of the day tweeted out. We will have our quick video of the 2-minute drill tweeted out and Facebook posted and Instagrammed. And then hopefully this week our boy Matt Landrum will come through with the pictures, and we will actually not have stock photos.
Wow!
For all
such
of our social media.
Shout out to Matt.
Shout out Landrum
burying him there.
It was like a hurry up Matt, but also I love you Matt at the same time.
Love Matt. We
do love Matt. Shout out Matt. Shout out Landrum Photography. But that was it. Cole, I just want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in, and we will have the recap all week long posted on the website. Or
Guys,
on the
make sure you
Facebook.
share. Make sure you leave us a comment,
Yes.
like everywhere.
Share and like and follow. Share
Twitter,
and like and follow.
Facebook, Instagram. We have it all.
We need
Check
it.
us out.
We need it. We need you.
If you can't find it, go on our personal accounts. We have the links
Yes.
there as well.
Cole Marino, Steven Williamson,
Find us. We're everywhere.
everywhere.
Covering everything. Thank you so much, guys. We'll be back next Wednesday. What time, Steven?
7:30 Wednesday nights, Facebook Live.
See you then, guys.